City of Voices is an upcoming PC adventure game developed and published by Kini Games. Set in the UK in the early 2000s, you must uncover what's really happening in a series of scenes in the life of Sarah Ramsbottom, a young girl with a wide imagination but a narrow circle of friends. See her struggles with growing up, dealing with bullies, and discovering a mystical Mayan temple, as all millennials born and raised in the UK in the early 2000s did. You can find store page information in the video description down below, but for now, let's get to it and kick off this preview, as I always do with these, by talking about the positives. Now, I'd hate to start off with something that's rather personal, but I do feel that the developers have done a great job here recreating the look and feel of early 2000s UK, from the design of certain items, product and magazines, to character designs and the writing. It really does feel like the kind of stuff that I saw growing up with myself or younger siblings or relatives. I know that from a professional point of view, I shouldn't just praise vibes, and certainly not ones that are this personal, but I'd be lying if I said that I didn't get a kick out of this. And the truth is that from a more objective point of view, this nostalgia is done in a way which doesn't feel too self-indulgent. This isn't the Remember X kind of nostalgia baiting that you get in other pieces of media these days, and it helps to give it a far more authentic and real vibe. Beyond that stuff, I love the gameplay in this one. The idea here is that you're presented with a scene where something has gone wrong for Sarah and you need to figure out who did it and why. To do this, you click on various pieces of evidence of various different characters, and you really need to study the evidence that you get here very carefully, especially if you want to have any hope in solving some of these puzzles in short order. And for me, I think the puzzles are just great, and unlike some other point-and-click adventure games, like I say, you really need to pay attention to the evidence. You can't just click on a bunch of random objects and hope for the best, and sometimes you need to look at these things from a very different point of view to figure out what's really going on, and this really helped to sell certain twists and turns within the story, which I won't spoil for you, but I really do think that they execute it brilliantly. And yes, towards the end of the demo, things start to go in a more fantastical direction, but everything up until that point is very authentic, believable, and endearing, and this helps to make the series of events that you're seeing here very compelling. I don't want to sound like I'm downing with faint praise here, but I really do like the way in which Sarah's life feels rather grounded and mundane, certainly how it's shown in the opening levels of this demo, and it really makes you want to root for her, and it gets really heartbreaking when certain things start to happen. And finally, I do love the art style here. It is, I will admit, something of an acquired taste, but it has an expressive quality that I do enjoy, and it really helps it to stand out in the current landscape of indie gaming these days. With all the positives said and done, it's now time to get into the negatives, and my first issue is one that, well, I'm sure this is one that will be fixed in due course, but I think that the motivations for the bully in the first puzzle aren't really that clear. I mean, it isn't obscure, and it doesn't feel like too much of a leap in logic that they did this because of that particular thing, but given the evidence that is presented in this scene, it does feel a little bit frustrating that that was the reason why they did it, when the evidence there feels kind of weak and tenuous. Still, nothing that can't be fixed in due course, and the second issue that I have is admittedly more of a matter of taste, and not something I'm really going to hold against the game or the developers or the writers behind this, but the whole premise of Sarah going off on this mystical, magical adventure, there's a part of me that isn't too keen on that and prefers the more mundane coming-of-age drama stuff that we get in the earlier levels, and I am sure that the writers behind this one will create something that really does hang together well and create something that is insightful and likely a very inspiring coming-of-age fantasy adventure. I will admit that the sudden shift feels a bit odd to me. That might be because of how early it happens into the story, but let's be honest, this is on the cover, so to speak. We know that this is going to be happening, so it's not like some kind of shock revelation that ruins everything. Maybe it's a pacing thing, maybe it's a taste kind of thing, but like I say, I'm still confident that they'll be able to do something good with this, and let's be honest, the idea of a kid going on a magical, mystical adventure to learn something about themselves in their everyday life isn't a controversial idea. Some of my favourite stories and movies growing up had that as a plot point. A character goes off to mystical fantasy land, learns something about themselves, and then comes back better to deal with the bullies or whatever problems are going on in their life. Great, fantastic, good. I'm sure the developers here will do something good with that. But either way, we'll see how it all hangs out. With all that said, I'm really looking forward to this one. City of Voices is an adventure game that I'm really looking forward to. I'm not the biggest adventure game fan, but I will admit that they're putting a very innovative spin on things that makes this really compelling and interesting to play, and I'm honestly feeling this might be one of my ones to watch over the coming year or so, but we'll see how it all comes together. I really do live this one, but hey, maybe it's just the nostalgia talking. With all that said and done, however, let me know if you're excited for this one. Have you played the demo? Are you looking forward to it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and have a great day. Goodbye! Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, favourite, subscribe, click the bell, and do all the YouTubey stuff that YouTube wants you to do. Go on, it'll do me a power of good. Until next time, my friends, goodbye!